Welcome to Home Cinema and Tech Review. In this video, I'm excited. I am going to create a complete guide of a Valerion menu in detail. Reason that I'm shooting a Valerion menu video, I know it might not be interesting for some people, but if you are willing to buy a Valerion, any Valerion, you're going to learn the entire menu in this dedicated video. Reason that I'm shooting such a video is not just because the Valerion Vision Master Pro 2 has sent me as a review unit. I thought I would create a dedicated menu section for a regular review that I do. My reviews are long, but it took so much to create the entire menu, so I've decided to create the entrance for the video, and then I will leave you with the entire menu of the Valerion because it has so much to offer in the menu, not just with the Android, not just with the speed, but you can really tune stuff. So if you're willing to pay this amount of money, I think you should be probably interested to learn what it can do, what it can't do, or what's the limitation if there is such. So you gotta learn before you buy any Valerion. Although my video based on Valerion Vision Master Pro 2 with a zoom function, your model might be having higher model and it might be having like a lens shift. Or you might not have the zoom function with a lower model, but it doesn't matter because you're going to get probably the 99% of the entire menu, and you're going to understand what a Valerion menu and adjustability is, how much connection and how much adjustment that you can do. So without further ado, we're going to dive deep to the menu of Valerion based on Valerion Vision Master Pro 2. If you have a different model with a couple of different menus, you can write in the comments what's the difference between your version and this version. But I don't think there will be a huge amount of differences. So without further ado, we're going to dive deep to the menu of the Valerion. But before that, I want you to like, subscribe to videos if you can, subscribe to the channel, and hype the videos if you can. The reason is I'm putting a lot of effort. Normally, I don't have to create such as content, but I would have liked a content because if I'm going to buy something like this, this is not a cheap projector. Of course, compare the competition like GVCs, Epson, maybe some of the Fuji high-end projectors, you're going to give up some specs, but you're going to get the majority of specs with the price of third or maybe fourth, maybe fifth, depending on what projector that you're targeting. You're going to get majority of the specs with a lot less money. And you got to learn what you're giving up in that case or what you're gaining in that case. So let's find out what a Valerion can do inside of the menu. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's give it a boost and start the engine of Valerion. Take a deep dive to the menu. Welcome to the entire menu of Valerion Vision Master series or Valerion in general. Since it's Android device, let's start fast because everybody knows it. On the left, we got Android profile that you installed. Again, home button and apps, library, search, and settings. Go back to the home button if you installed your profile. Here is the clear. You got Prime recommendations up top. And I want you to see how fast it is with a slow internet. It is extremely fast. It is the fastest thing probably that you see with a 4 gigabytes of RAM and 128 of storage. This is a beast of an Android. Probably only thing could match to this, it's NVIDIA Shield maybe, I don't know. But other than that, I guess you gotta connect to a high-end smartphone to get this level of probably speed. So below that, we got Netflix, YouTube, Prime, Disney Plus, and some of the apps for locals, YouTube Music, Browser, Device Assistant, Live TV, Being Connect, Family Moment, Camera, Smart Functions, Media Center, Connection Tips, My Music, Apple TV, Spotify, Reorder, and add additional apps. Other than that, we got YouTube recommendations. That's a nice touch. And here we got Apple TV and recommendations from Apple TV. We got YouTube and YouTube recommendations, the things depending on what we watch. And below that, we got Spotify recommendations. And below that, we got HDMI source. Other than that, what do we have? When we go to the apps, your apps, this thing shows what we have. And other than that, you can search it from the bar, whatever you want. Entertainment, music, and you can search by the category here. Other than that, some apps that we have already installed for our dongles and devices that we use. I'm going to probably create a dedicated GeForce Now section where we can really, I believe, convert this device to a gaming console because it is really powerful on Android. It's really fast. So you probably it can convert to a gaming console with a gamepad on it, a gamepad connected to it. And VLC and Kodi is like my recommendations, I suppose. Other than that, maybe browser for TV or launcher, maybe Plex if you got dedicated server. Other than that, some games recommended, some apps here, and I'm going to show this section little. I'm going to hit back and go to the top. And here in the library, you're not going to see anything additional because I haven't used my personal account. So there will be movies from the Google TV. And here you can search any TV and genre here: drama, family, fantasy, historical, horror, documentary, and such. And here we got the menu where we will spend our time. But before diving deep to the menu, I want to show you one quick menu because I want you to see this faster. If I hit menu button from the projector, I can reach the quick menu and I can really adjust a lot of stuff like sound to standard, theater, sport, music, speech kind of like level. Sleep timer, auto keystone correction, autofocus, audio output, picture, sound, help, more. And when it comes down to this section, quick tools such as AirPlay, screen sharing, and clear the cache, or entire setting when I hit here. We're going to dive the entire settings and go for the first fast ones, and then we're going to spend our times with the longer menus because we have huge amount of details. Let's start. Input. It seems simple, right? Google TV Home is where we are right now. AirPlay is the stuff if you want to cast. If you hit it, it's going to directly go to the AirPlay section where you can connect through the AirPlay to this device. I'm going to hit back again. I'm going to go to the inputs again. AirPlay, HDMI, HDMI 2, HDMI 3 with eARC and ARC. This means you can connect any sound system like a 7.1.2, 5.1 plus something, like a sound bar, dedicated AVR, professional receiver, and then you're going to be able to send any signal digitally through HDMI. But it has also optical output. You can probably see it in the menu for probably a couple of minutes later. Camera smart functions, if you hit it, like custom gestures. If you connect your camera to it, you can enable like mute, on off device and play and pause. Gesture in apps you can also add. I'm going to passing these faster, but these are some stuff like you can add to Google setup with the camera use, like family moment, browser kind of like setup. Brightness auto adjustment, automatically reduce the screen brightness after detecting the viewers leaving, maximizing energy saving. If you got the camera and if you got the camera facing to you, then you got that option. For that, you got to install the camera like you're installing a webcam to a smart, probably Android TV or Google TV. But it will really help to control the device with the gestures, and also probably you're going to able to use it with a Zoom, maybe Teams, and maybe some other apps that you can use like a conference room setup. But definitely, I'm not going to dive deep in this video, but you got the option that right here. And we finished the inputs. And other than that, we're going to go to the sound, but it will be a longer menu. Get ready. TV sound effect, DTS Virtual X, on and off. It really adjusts the stuff. But reason that I'm not going to show you any sound samples in this video, because I've shot 20 minutes dedicated video with every sound sample or music sample possible, so you can have a clear idea with an omnidirectional custom recording. You got a clear idea what this device can really deliver with its own speaker without any additional. I think it's really beast of a device. DTS Virtual X really add depth to and also punchiness to the audio. You're going to be able to hear it in the full video. So I'm not going to go deep in that. Sound mode is standard, theater, sport, music, speech, late night, and intelligent sound. Late night really dims the audio, so if you're watching night alone and you don't want to wake up the kids and the family members and stuff, maybe elderlies. And intelligent sound is based on if you have like one TV channel or one YouTube channel to another or one movie to another, sound may differ to the recordings, and that'll boost the sound to the level that you don't want to, have a high pitch. So that really affects and really smart way to use it if you ask me. So you can open up the intelligent audios. Advanced settings, auto acoustic, optimize the sound with the according to listening environment depending on your room. Room acoustic tuning, device automatically does itself. And when you hit like this, auto acoustic tuning starts. Please keep the environment quiet. Please make sure device is paired with Bluetooth remote and hold on the remote usual watching position and point at the device. So it literally understands where the remote control is and probably using the microphone of the remote control, and it really adjusts according to it. So equalizer, you can adjust hertz levels any way you want, and you can mess it up because it has a reset button, and that's a nice touch. Just dedicated reset button of every menu just make things easy for you to experiment if you're a newbie on audio, or probably we're going to look at that in a picture menu. 120 hertz, 250, 500, 1 kilohertz, 2, 4, 8, and reset. That's about it. Balance, what are you going to do with the balance with the device? Probably like a cubular style. Well, it has speaker on the right and the left. So if you're going to sit on the left, you might want to reduce the audio, or shift the audio to the left because you're going to be sitting on the right. So you can balance depending on where you sit. If you have two people sitting left and right, that doesn't make too much of a sense maybe. But if you're going to watch it dedicated by yourself, you can tune it up depending on this setting, and it will really help. And I did it, really helps. But right now I'm sitting it behind like 1 meter distance, and I don't have to do anything. Auto volume control. It says similar stuff within automatic. Again, the last menu. Automatic control, drastic volume changes while watching the TV program. So it's not just by the source, but it's also by the program from one to another, providing more comfortable and consistent volume, and you can open it up. It really might help. Volume level, as you can see, for the input. So if you have a low input, you can try to boost the input from here, but normally I never need such a stuff. I'm using most of the time internal Android since it's probably one of the best in the world. But if I connect like probably something else with a lower input to the device, then I might try that. The most important part is the lip sync. Lip sync, if you have like visual audio latency, that most of the time happens with the Bluetooth connection or wireless solutions. Like if you have chose, probably majority of people are asking to me if you got a Wi-Fi wireless receiver and transmitter. When you might want to think about something like this, you don't want to use the Bluetooth connection because you want to send the Dolby Atmos or something like a 5.1 digital audio through a soundbar. When that happens with the HDMI wireless kit, you might have a delay. But with this sort of device, you can use it with probably HDMI ARC and send the signal and accord the lip sync with this sort of solution, or you can use it probably with a VLC or MX Play kind of like built-in Android app, or install an app and change the additional latency, and you can maybe solve your Bluetooth or similar latency problem, and you can mess it up and reset, and that's another touch. Having a reset button is a nice thing for an amateur. And eARC is auto. I keep it at auto because it's practical. Digital audio output, as you can see, available when audio output selects HDMI or optical if you connect something. HDMI audio device guide, it shows you how you can do things, because if you're not, you might not be able to, having the information in your arsenal, you might not be a pro, since this device has for people with more knowledge and also for lifestyle projector being casual. That's a nice touch. So it shows like you can connect two ways. You can connect your PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X style, let's just say console or Android box or AVR, whatever you have, like a Blu-ray player most of the time. You got the HDMI in of the Valerion to connect the projector, and then through the projector you can connect eARC to the sound device or AVR receiver that you got with an HDMI support. The second way, you can connect your source through HDMI to an audio device that supports the eARC and then connect your audio device through eARC to Valerion. That's the second alternative. These are speaker settings right now. If it's available, output select that. Wired headphone. Right now we haven't connected anything wirely, through the 3.5, if I remember, the jack. The audio only can be played when the screen is off. If you're going to use it as a speaker, which is a pretty good speaker, it feels like a Harman Kardon style speaker. If you ask me, like a JBL and Harman Kardon style high-end speaker, that means you can use it like just listening music without just projecting anything. So this section is finished. Don't worry, we have a lot to do. Accessibility. Captions. We got captions streaming other content if you hit it. So display. Language. So you can open up display. Captions will look like this. I'm going to close it. Language. We can choose whatever we want. Since it's Android, we got every language, I guess. Text. Very small, normal, large, and very large. White on black, black on white, yellow on black, yellow on blue, and custom. Always nice to have such stuff. I'm going back. High contrast text. It will boost the sharpness, but focus on the grayer small text. They will be white. Just in a second. Are you ready? Yes, right now they are white and text is pushed highest possible. So this is an experimental stuff. Normally Valerion has huge amount of brightness and sharpness with a 4K. I've done 900 inch on a building, 500 inch in a garage. So you don't normally need this, but if you want to show off the text and extreme sharpness, you can try this, but it adds a little bit of glow around the edges. Normally you don't need it, and up close you don't want it, but when you need it, there it is. So I'm going to go from experimental, I'm going to close it. Text to speech. So you know the Google, so it has the text to speech. So you got a voiceover control remote, speech recognition and synthesis from Google. Engine configuration. You can configure the language. It uses a system language by default, and right now system is English, no problem for that. But when I use the Turkish and different languages that we use at home, so we can change it. Settings to speech recognition synthesis from Google. So you can also adjust some of the settings from that. So this is a Google thing. Install the voice data. If you're going to use a different language and the data is not installed, you can try to install the voice data, change the language. If it's not a default language, you might want to install that. Speech rate, speed at which the text is spoken. So it is also voice overing. So this is kind of like very slow to slow, normal, fast, faster, very fast, rapid, very rapid, and fastest. So normal is, I guess, good. Listen to an example. So I'm going to open up the volume so you can hear it. Listen again.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
So it can talk to you like a Google Voice, and that's a nice touch. So you can ask your, questions, tell me a joke kind of like style from the remote control. That's a nice touch. So default, I don't use these sort of settings too much. Default language status here, it's fully supported here. I'm going to hit back. So accessibility shortcut. Here, when your shortcut is on, you can press both back and down buttons for 3 seconds to start accessibility features. Talkback is right now off. I don't exactly know the talkback. Probably it's about, again, these smart talking functions. Switch axis. Configuration, what do we have? Assign switches for scanning, switches for global actions, switches to shortcuts, and common UI. It's enable or right now configuration. I don't care too much of these things, so I'm going to little bit of accessibility part, passing these out. And have I missed anything? I guess not. This section is passed. So I'm going to go from the short menus to longer menus, where we are going to have fun. Screensaver is a short menu, don't be afraid. So normally TVs and projectors are doing the similar stuff. So when you hit buttons like left and right, you're going to be able to change the one picture to another. You're going to enjoy great pictures. When you don't watch anything, it will project on a wall or a screen. It will be huge and great. You can also probably use from galleries if you dive deep into the settings. And I'm going to go for the picture. So this device is a pro level, we can count it, I guess, pro level projector with some of the just probably fourth of maybe fifth of the price of many pro level projectors. So where majority of the settings are here, and this section will be long. Picture mode is, let's just hit it. You can go like this and change it a lot. Reason that I'm shooting energy saving because it's not bright. This is right now 150 inch and it is still bright for the camera to expose the text right for you. So picture mode, energy saving, cinema, filmmaker, and I'm going to go back, supports, standard, and dynamic. So most of the time I use standard or energy efficient because I love my eyes. This thing is extremely bright and you don't normally need it in a dark room because in a dynamic mode, in a probably 60% power, it can, in my opinion, really watchable 300-inch image. It has extreme contrast. So normally you don't want to do it, but if you like high brightness or you use ALR screen that will reduce the brightness, but if you're going to use it in a lit environment, you might want to overcome the ambient, depending on your ambient. So apply picture settings for all sources, current source is a nice touch. So if you change something from the picture menu or the brightness or the lasers that we are going to do, apply the all sources is a nice touch. But if you connect to a AVR, preprocessor like a dedicated high-end processor unit, if you use it with GVCs or some of the Sony's and Epson's high-end maybe 16,000 projectors like dollars and above projectors, and if you have preprocessors and sources, you might want to keep it for only current source, which is Android, or change it to all sources because you might want to change the HDMI 1 settings, let's just say for gaming console, and keep the rest for the others. Who knows? That's a nice touch. So general, when we go to the general, enable automatically detect the filmmaker mode or IMAX mode tags the content and implement the preferred picture settings contained within. So if you got a dedicated functions, like probably, let's just say you got an Xbox Series X and you're playing a Forza Horizon 5 and suddenly Dolby Vision appeared on the screen because your projector is sending a Dolby Vision style signal. It automatically detects and Dolby Vision logo appears on the projectors menu. That means it's activated. It is automatically tuning the color and the brightness depending on that. You might not able to change the settings. That's why it is right now off, because I want you to see the entire menu. So if you say some settings auto, device automatically changes the brightness and tones and a lot of stuff, and you can't change the menus. AI is right now off, but you can make it on, and it's a smart move to make it on and off because it has quite a bit of good upscale capabilities for lower resolution, and it has auto contrast, and everything is good in the auto if you ask me. But reason that I keep it off, I'm going to continue through the entire menu and I don't want to go back. Right now it's running 1, 0, and I'm going to push it to 10. Whoa, you're going to get blind. So I'm going to go back to 1. Black level is off, okay. Currently unavailable, it says. Let's just go here. The future is unavailable. Reason, I might want to go to, let's just say, standard mode. Let's see, AI is off, laser luminance. Auto adjust brightness according to scene, make the contrast powerful. Press OK to zoom out settings. The future is currently unavailable. Enhance black level. Probably I did something in the menu. Like I said, I didn't want to do it, but okay. That's a big deal. So we got to go to the, that's why you got so much menus and some stuff you got to readjust. Let's just skip this because I don't want to keep it too long. So if you can do it, you probably go back to a menu. If I stop again, I will probably have to solve it. Sorry for that. The contrast is right now 50, black level is 0. I can enhance the black to the darkest position, but -20 It's kind of like a quite good. -15 is great in my opinion. Dark detail, we can push it up and down, on and off. And we got the Gamma 2.2, 2.4, BT 1860, 1886, and also Gamma 2.0. It's default 2.2. I am okay with that. Active contrast is medium, low, and off. If I change the active contrast, no, I can still do it. I will leave it in the medium. Brightness enhancer is off. You can do it on. When you do it, it really pushes the colors and you don't like it. It just goes to, when it even in the low. If I do it high, it will be feeling like an absent on the brightest mode, okay? Because it really shifts to yellow and greenish. You don't normally need it. You don't do it. But if you need to go even bigger than, let's just say 900 inch, I don't think that you will need, because it's a building size with a 10th floor, I guess. So it's something enhancer which you won't need, but in case of extreme bright environment with an ALR or without an ALR, you might think of HDR enhancer on and off. But when I do on, as you can see, active control is gone. So some of the settings are killing the other menus, so you got to learn what you're killing when you're doing stuff. Other than that, we got to go to colors, and colors is 50, hue is 0, color temperature is warm 2, warm 1. Cinema feels like warm 1. We're going to talk about that. Warm 2 and standard. Standard feels like something between cold and hot. It's closer to the cold, I guess. And when you say cool, it's a little cooler, but not extremely high. Everything is tuned well. So you don't want to mess it up normally if you don't know what you're doing, but you can try if you bought something like this. And color space is BT 2020. That's a nice type. PCI P3, BT 709, which is really preferable on the cinema industry. If I'm going to video edit, I would prefer most of the time BT 720, 709, 709. Native, auto, BT, DCI P3, BT to 2020. So you can leave it at auto and you can keep things fine. Dynamic color enhancer is off, low, medium. I guess you can keep most of the things low or medium without any issues, because I think it's really quite tuned up. With the default, I can say it is matching most of the TVs. I have compared it with my TCL T8B 75-inch 4K TV, and I have compared it with the LG 65 QNET TVs. I think they are quite decent tuned TVs in the standard mode. It's really matching quite well, just like a TV, but you can always change it. Clarity, sharpness at 25 right now. It is extremely sharp, but even if you go to the 0, it's still sharp. So normally you don't have to go any adjustment, but when you do, you don't have to go over 25 in my opinion. But let me know what your settings are in the description below, and that might be tried with people having Valerion. So you can help other people by commenting technical. Just write it short as possible to people to see. Smooth gradient, low, off, medium, and high. This section is reduced color bending or creating smoother transitions, and you can adjust that. Super resolution is on. And since this device has a great CPU and GPU built in, I suppose we should be leaving on, but depending on your visual and pre-processing, like if you got a dedicated processor, you might want to leave this off to leave entire settings of the visual coming from the source. But I am okay with it because it's really doing a great job. Noise reduction is medium. I'm keeping things decent, but you can go low, off, medium, or high, as always. MPEG noise reduction is the same. Motion enhancement, standard, clear, film, custom. Judder reduction, blur reduction. So you can tune these things the way that you want, like a sliding pictures or like a slow motion moments where judder effect happens, or some blur with the fast moving things. You can really adjust all these things depending on your preference, but I am keeping things in standard here. Calibration settings. Whoa, boy, we got a lot of settings. Color tuner. Yes, as you can see, please ensure the dynamic color enhancer is disabled. So that's a nice touch. I gotta go and find out that dynamic color. Let's just hit the menu icon. And from here to quick menu, I got the projector. No, not this. Hit the menu again. And again, from the menu, go to the display. And from the picture, I need to go to the standard instead of something like this. I think I am okay to change it. Calibration settings, color tuner. Where was the color enhancer anyway? Okay, dynamic color off, off, off. Well, I am putting everything off, I guess. General, IE scene off. Standard, okay. Calibration, color tuner. Where is the dynamic color enhancer? That's why really active contrast. Okay, I gotta find that. When I hit standard, okay. Let's go to, here, top menu, from picture here, general, off, AI scene, off, laser luminance. I'm having a difficult time. Okay, color space, native. I'm going to leave it. Okay, dynamic color, sorry. It was right in front of my eyes. I think some of you probably noticed that, sorry for that. But I'm working a lot and excuse me for that. So let's go here, laser luminance and calibration, color tuner, and we are here. Red, 6 primary colors, fresh tone selection. Red, green, blue, yellow, cyan, magenta, flesh tone. So all these things are actually for flesh tone, okay? If you have the natural tone of a human face. So you can adjust hue, saturation, brightness here, and you can also reset the color tuner here. This is not the detail menu. This is for a reference point of skin tone. And if you come around here, white balance with 2 points, RGB, RGB gain. So we got offset and also gain levels. So you can really adjust way with the RGB. If you hit 20, you got level, red, blue, green, and on. When you do it on, you can do it like this, and you can always reset. But I suppose if you don't have a custom tool like I do, I will probably create another tutorial about this, maybe a couple of tutorials with TVs and projectors. Let me know what you think about this. If you have a dedicated device, and if you don't, I might create a guide with my devices and kind of like maybe if you have your tones mapped with custom devices, like if you're a professional color grader and using a Valerion, just write in the description what your reference settings so people can really try them out, see if they, find it useful. But I might create in the future video if you give a lot of likes to this. So gamma calibration, you can adjust the input level and also the gain from the source and reset the gamma calibration. RGB only, red, green, blue, and off. So reset is always there. That's a nice touch. So other than that, let's go to the menu and picture. See if we finished the entire section. And we got the entire reset of the picture menu. And I'm going to go to the Wi-Fi. This is going to be fast, don't worry. The rest is easy. So you can do proxy settings, IP settings, manual IP, scanning always available if you are going to from one place to another, carrying it with the bag and stuff. Other than that, what do we have? Screen adjustment, 16:9. This feature is not available for current signal or source if you got a dedicated source. So you got to give it a source. Overscan is right now off. This feature is not, again, with the source. Screen size, and again, depending on your screen, you can dedicate it, here. And screen sync is right now on and off. Probably that's working with if you got a screen automatically. So sound menu, again, have we covered entirely everything? Sound effect, eARC, audio only. Yes, we did this menu. Audio output, speaker, HDMI ARC, optical, if you have optical, Bluetooth speaker, voice speaker, wired headphone, and always speaker on. And this is again finished. Network settings, and you got every bit of, yes, we already checked that. Auto sign in, this is the account I use for tests. Privacy, apps, you can see entire apps here, and you can go Google Play Store from here, and you can see all the apps. If you hit it like this, whoa, huge amount of app, and you can hit the show system apps so you can see the additional apps. But I don't think that probably majority of people won't be bothered. Manage updates, when you hit it like this, auto update normally available automatically, but you can close it and do it manually. See available updates, let's just show you. 4 things are waiting in a line for updating. That's a nice touch. And I'm going to go back. App permissions, you're going to have to give permissions some way or another for apps like microphones, camera, if you need it, like a file, reaching the files, pictures and stuff. If you install a file browser, VLC player, and something like that. Security, scan apps with Play Protect and improve harmful app protection, like Google for better detection. And system is going to be easy access, but it's not going to be too small menu. Accessibility, captions, and we look at that menu. I'm going to go left. If you hit back, it returns to the main menu. Don't hit back button. You gotta go left and right like this. About system update, device name is TV 9051. So it gives the name of the built-in dongle inside. Reset, status, legal information. Model is Vision Master, Android OS version 12. Update is February 5, 2025. I just got 700 probably plus megabytes of a huge update with it. Kernel version, Android build, and upgrade if you're going to use it with USB upgrade. Date and time here, you probably know it. Language, you got every possible language. I'm going back. And here we got the keyboard, Gboard settings, and manage keyboards. If you got a couple of keyboards, you can open them up and install custom keyboards. But it has a voice command. What you are going to do with a remote? If you wanna, use a keyboard and mouse, be my guest. And other than that, device storage 110 is free, 128 is entire section, and you can see what is taking place. Right now, it's pretty clear. Storage, read, write protection, if you're going to use that. Ambient screen saver, Google Photos, Art Gallery, and custom AI art. So you can use AI generated art when it's doing custom thing, and you can always watch the weather if it's going to show it to you. Time, personal photo, portrait Google Photos, personal photo curation, slideshow speed. You can adjust everything in the personal screensaver menu, like I told you in the beginning, I guess. We're taking a lot of time, so I might forget what I've said in the beginning. It's a huge amount of menu. Power, energy, behavior, Google TV Home, last used input. So you can adjust the input if you're going to connect your PS5 or Xbox Series X or, AVR receiver, whatever. You can start from the device that you are sending the signal. Power on and off when active, a couple of minutes you can adjust, and power. This is a nice touch. Power on mode, standby on, remember. Sleep timer, auto sleep, power on type, power on timer. These are good stuff. And power on LED is here. So I want you to understand power on behavior here. If I hit here, let me just find out that menu. We got the cast. I will probably get into the inputs details. We got cast here, always while casting and never remote control notification. System sounds are on right now. Apple AirPlay and HomeKit. Camera smart functions, like I showed you. Advanced system. Device controlled with Alexa. Store mode, screenless mode, e-manual, screen mirroring, content sharing, and clear the cache. Other than that, you got restart. When I hit back, I got this remote and accessories. Remote control works with Bluetooth, and you can pair it quite easily. I've connected my Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pro from Anchor, and I'm using it with many of the projectors and the dongles that I got. It works perfectly without any latency, so it's kind of like a recommendation for the audio, I guess, if you're going to watch it on your own. Smart RC is the remote control. Don't try to unpair it. You gotta unpair it later on. So you can pair any Bluetooth device, and help is here. So inputs, when I hit inputs, external inputs, as you can see, this is one of the things that I want to show you. External inputs, HDMI is 4K 60Hz, 444, 422, 420, 10 bits and above. So you got a pretty deal on the enhancement. So right now HDMI 1 and 2 is like enhanced format, but you can change it to standard, but enhanced based on picture quality, but you can go enhanced pro. Please select this option if the device's refresh rate is only if your gaming console support higher refresh rate. So if you got a PS5 Pro, 4K like a 120, maybe above like Xbox Series X, who knows? So you can connect something extreme and test these settings, but normally enhanced format is okay, or you can leave it auto as it is. So you can do the same thing for the HDMI 2. HDMI 3 is right now auto. I don't care. It works perfectly in the auto mode. HDMI control, when enabled, it can interact with other connected HDMI devices, supports CEC functionality. So you can do a couple of stuff. Like, for example, source is closed like a console or Android box, and it closes the projector. Vice versa. Projector close and the device also closes connected to it. So you can control all these things in this menu with the control 4, control port, supported systems. And other than that, yes, projector, auto keystone correction, manual keystone correction, auto screen alignment, autofocus, manual focus, display zoom, position adjustment, wall color adaptation, I'm going to talk about it, auto keystone upon motion, auto focus upon motion, obstacle avoidance on keystone, screen alignment on keystone, auto eye protection, high altitude mode, ultra sharp mode, DLP turbo mode, installation we're going to talk about, and 3Ds. Let's go up. This is a huge menu, and I think this is one of the final menus. I don't think that we have a huge amount of thing left. Auto keystone correction, it's easy when you hit it. It's right now working perfectly because it is on the auto keystone. Let's OK to it. And I can adjust it manual like you see here, but I'm not going to do it for the sake of, let's just finish this thing. And manual keystone correction, you can always do it like just you saw. Auto screen alignment, if you hit it, it just starts the screen alignment process. And I'm going to go again to the projector menu. Autofocus, I'm not going to do it, but it really focuses perfectly. Everything is perfectly sharp. But interestingly, if you want a manual focus, it has extreme amount of steps. So if you can get close to the screen, you can really enjoy the slow adjustability and how many steps that it has when it comes down to the focus. It really feels like a pro level device. That's why you're, getting the Valerion, if you ask me. So display zoom, but you don't need a manual focus if you ask me. I haven't any issue with the focus. Position adjustment. So if you have the lens, probably lens shift, you can adjust the position according to your lens shift state, depending on the model. Wall color adjustment, adaptation. That's a nice touch. If you got a color cast on your wall, let's just say light gray or light pink, light blue, light green. Light colors are easy, but if you have too much of a cast, I suggest get yourself a proper white wall or paint the wall or get yourself a proper screen in that manner, because if you got a high contrasted color, adjusting will help, but it will not get you the level of Valerion deserves, in my opinion. So other than that, that's a nice pro level touch. Auto keystone upon motion. So if you got a motion in front of you, or if you move the projector too much, since the Valerion is, I think, targeting it itself as a pro level device, I think people will not be moving them so much. But once you get it out of the box, it really does everything automatically for the first time. So you don't have to use all the settings in the auto mode. But if you're going to take it into the box and move it so much, you might want to open these settings up, auto keystone upon motion. So when you move the projector left and right, easily, automatically does this thing. Autofocus upon motion. Again, it does the photo focus for you. Otherwise, right now, it's not doing it. I'm hitting the remote control button, but there is a dedicated autofocus button, so you don't have to open this up. Obstacle avoidance on keystone. So if you got a small amount of obstacle, it will automatically use the obstacle avoidance, and it might, when you combine with screen alignment on keystone, it might automatically, reduce the image size. So what happens is, if you have just a little bit corner of your furniture or something between, like a, let's just say, lamp hanging from the ceiling, just a little bit of it like a shadow, if it's not bothering you, but the camera adjusts accordingly and shrinks the entire image like maybe 10 to 20, maybe 30 inches, so to get rid of that shadow, just to get rid of that obstacle. So you might not want to open this up depending on your state. Auto eye protection, if you have kids, if you put the projector lower to the ground, is someone pass through or sees the device, it will really hurt their eyesight, because Valerion is extremely bright. It is dangerous. I looked at it for a couple of seconds in some videos, and it really bothered me, even though I wasn't directly looking at Valerion. So it's a big deal if you have kids. High altitude mode, if you're living in the high states, like a mountain, or if you take the projector to do vacation and stuff. Ultra sharp mode, fine tune to the sharpness of the picture. You might want to, close it up depending on your processing. DLP turbo mode is decrease the input lag when enabled correction and 3D features if supported. So if you got a need to that, like extreme low latency, normally I don't care. I use it at 4K 60p. If I remember correctly, you can check it up with the full review, but 4K, probably 15 milliseconds of delay, 60p. I don't need the 4.2 milliseconds lowest latency for gaming. It's really casual gaming without doing anything at 4K. But if you want to reach the level of 4.2 milliseconds, 240 hertz, be my guest. Installation, front ceiling, rear ceiling. So you can rear project or front project, and upwards and downwards. So auto flip, see, when you move the projector to the flip mode, it automatically flips itself. And 3D is right now off. It looks at the source. So you got to connect to a 3D Blu-ray player or 3D source to get that out. And 3D left and right switch. I don't know if you know too much of a 3D. I have to probably create a dedicated 3D video for Valerion. A lot of people are asking. And so you got to give it a 3D Blu-ray source or something like that, to left to right kind of like way, or up to down, I guess. And 2D, 3D to 2D, convert 3D video into the 2D. And that's another nice touch if you don't have a same movie in a 2D version. If you only have the 3D Blu-ray or, the digital disc, whatever you have. Other than that, have I finished the menu? For God's sake, let's finish it. I am exhausted. Thumbs up and subscribe, guys. Thumbs up and subscribe, just for the effort. And I finished the entire menu. So, if you want to learn more, I'm just going to open up a great visual, okay? And I'm going to probably close the... This is a TV level of quality at a scale of 150. If you want to see the same level of picture size, 150 versus TV side by side without an ALR, there's a dedicated video in the channel, so you can check it out. With the ALR, it can beat some of the TVs, but without the ALR, it is really catching in the darkroom setup. Until the next video, bye from Home Cinema and Tech Review, and hoşça kalın from Türkiye.